united, strong, and paving the way for meaningful change. I see you, and I'm proud to be in this fight with you. And thank you to the countless allies that are here today to promote solidarity and demonstration. Today, thousands of workers across hundreds of Starbucks stores are walking out on strike from coast to coast. They are joined by even more non-union partners in solidarity. I know from personal experience that Starbucks hours can be punishing, unreliable, and flat out unfair. I, including 60 plus other Starbucks workers, have filed complaints with in reference to the Fair Work Week law in New York City because these hour cuts are not legal. This is what power looks like.
So the Red Cup Day is the day every year where Starbucks gives out a free plastic red cup that is different every year with any purchase of a holiday drink. So it has become the most profitable day for Starbucks every year. So that is why today we have, on the past 2 Red Cup days, we've decided to do nationwide strikes.
Different coverage. And now, when you went in there, were you trying to hand the work or something?
So in there, we were trying to hand the manager of the store or the district manager, whoever was available, a petition regarding fair scheduling in Starbucks, and they refused to take it.
So what are some of the issues besides scheduling? What are some of the working conditions that workers are out striking for?
Yeah, I mean, specifically Red Cup Day, we don't have the amount of staff or materials to be able to handle the inflow of customers, so it becomes extremely overwhelming, tiring, and workers are not given any extra pay or benefits or bonuses for working Red Cup Day, so there's no incentive to do it either. So it's really not fair the way they schedule Red Cup Day.
I've been a Starbucks partner for 2 years. I love my job because of the interaction with customers and being able to provide a good experience early in the morning. We, the partners, are Starbucks. But here in New York City, my fellow workers across the city, we have filed complaints alleging Starbucks has violated the city fair worksheet, which protects us against inconsistent scheduling and last-minute changes. Workers like me wouldn't be able to sustain ourselves and our family because we don't receive enough hours to survive. In my store, there are never enough of us to work to turn orders around quickly, especially on promo day like Red Cup Day. My co-workers are stressed out and overworked. The company needs to listen to us when we present our solution and on the staffing. That's why we are standing here in solidarity with the thousands of Starbucks partners across the country going on strike today. That's it. That's what I got today.
I've been there for 2 years, and I want to say that the practices that they've been doing for the past year at our store is unfair and just really not safe for us. I'm really exhausted. I'm tired of dealing with all the nonsense and the chaos that's been happening between Starbucks and our store. We've been fighting for over a year, and no changes have been made for our store. We've been asking for better pay, better work environment, and in general, just a better connection with the customers. But we can't have that if we don't have a safe work environment. So the working condition in my store is just really unsafe for us. You know, we've been calling and telling Starbucks that we want to change for our store. We've been asking for better pay, better wage, because sometimes some of the tasks that are given in our store is just out of our hands. We can't control the homelessness problem. We can't control the bathroom issues. There's just so many factors that goes along that we just can't deal with, and it's just really unfair for us to just take more tasks on top of our other daily tasks.
What would a fair contract look like to you?
For the fair contract, I think that it will definitely boost, you know, in terms of like productivity, our mental health, because right now we're just so overworked that in terms of our understaffed, like we just haven't been getting staffed properly, and it's just a lot of workload for us, you know, just to tackle all at once. And because of those things, like it takes a huge mental toll on us, and we just want to make sure that we change that soon.
Now, how many workers, you guys walked out today, right?
Yeah,
And
that's right.
picketed today?
Yeah.
How many workers walked out, and is the store still operating?
So a lot of the workers have walked out, but some of them just never came, just in support of the Red Cup Rebellion. Some of us were with us during the picket line, and we're also trying to not show up to work, just so that at least they can take notice of how much we do care for our team, and Starbucks does do something about it.
What would you say to some Starbucks workers who don't want to join the union or refusing to be a part of the union?
Yeah, I mean, I respect that everyone has their own decisions. There's no force for you to join the union, but if you do research, know what it's more about, then it'll maybe appeal to you. Again, I respect everyone's decision. As a Starbucks worker, we still work as a team, so I want to make sure I respect everyone's decision.
No coffee! No contract! No coffee!
What do we want? Fair schedules! When do we want them?
Now!
What do we want?
Fair schedule!
When do we want them?
Now!
What do we want?
Fair schedule!
When do we want them?
Now!
What do we want?
Fair schedule!
When do we want them?
Now!
What do we want?
Fair schedule!
When do we want it?
Now!
Next we have New York State Senate and Labor Chair Jessica Ramos.
Buenos dias, mi gente! Well, I'm here to stand in solidarity with all of the Starbucks workers who make the money happen. I happen to be a Colombian girl from Queens, New York. I am actually the descendant of many generations of coffee growers from the mountains of Colombia. And I know in many different ways that Starbucks has managed to squeeze every human being they can for every dime so that they can make top dollar while everybody at the bottom that makes that profit possible is actually struggling to make ends meet, to provide for their families. So many on the verge of eviction. I wanted to be labor chair in the state senate when I got elected because I began to see how my generation is falling behind our elders, incapable of buying a house in New York, incapable of keeping up with our student loan debt. Sometimes the future for us can seem really, really bleak, but it's union organizing. It's organizing with our coworkers, talking about our salaries, talking about the disrespect that we receive at the workplace, that gives us the hope that together we will be able to have a brighter tomorrow for us and for our children and for so many generations to come.
Look, I'm really fortunate to be the council member for this area and the majority leader of the New York City Council. But I don't want to be out here, but I will continue to stand with these guys and make sure that you guys get the fair treatment, the recognition, and everything that you guys are fighting for and deserve. We have been fighting these fights all over this city and in different industries, but including fast food workers, to make sure that workers are treated with dignity. And in a city where the cost of living is getting so bad out there, it is just basic human decency to treat people well and pay them well. Am I right? Yeah! So look, they may not accept the envelope and want to read what's inside of it, but I am certain they are hearing our voice today. Am I right? Yeah! And that's not just here in Midtown, that's citywide. There are nationwide. We are going to lead the way in New York City to make sure the rest of the country and Starbucks and anyone else who doesn't want to recognize their unions and recognize their workers organizing, this is going to be the place here on 39th Street and here in New York City where we lead the way for the rest of the country. And you guys are up to that task, am I right?
Some solidarity, indeed, to my sisters and brothers, more so to the next generation. Very essential. They're not asking for anything that they're not due. I always believe that working has its dignity. It really does. And with an understanding that today is their highest level of revenue and that these folks feel inadequate about what they're coming out here to do each and every day. That's unconscionable. And I hope someday, just like marching, that we'll not have to do this anymore. But until, we need to be strong, our hearts need to be strong, our numbers need to be strong, right here in support of what's right.
I support cross-solidarity union effort with the wave of Workers Unite, the United Workers that we've been seeing. This is a direct response to the crisis of capitalism and how it has been decaying. And my organization and I, Socialist Revolution, we believe in showing full solidarity for the workers and their fight.
Absolutely. Is there anything you would like people to know? What's your thought on our labor movement, Labor Party?
Labor Party? So I would say right now, the working class has never been in a more revolutionary position. What has been lacking is the leadership, is labor leadership. We continue to see time and time again the working class put their faith in these people that are supposed to be doing something, like Bernie, AOC, other labor leadership, and they regularly continue to betray the workers, the working class, the very people that put them where they could be to discuss this in the first place. And in order to actually do anything, it's not about having lack of faith in the working class, it's about having proper leadership, a leadership of the actual workers to fight and make a real change, a real difference.
Starbucks is part of, I hope, a national reckoning where workers are winning and at the center of a conversation that has been far too long in waiting. This is not about breaking companies. This is about companies recognizing that they are getting the money they're getting. Their CEOs are getting the wealth that they're getting because of the people behind them. Yeah. That's the only reason that these companies are successful, are because of these workers. Yeah. They deserve to share in the gains and the wealth that is going to the top. And they deserve to work in conditions that are both healthy for them physically and mentally. You don't deserve to become millionaires and billionaires by breaking the backs of workers. This can be a symbiotic relationship where everyone is gaining, so they can feed their families and have a mentally and physical healthy time when they leave.
I wanted to say that Starbucks needs to follow the Fair Workweek law because we need consistent hours and consistent schedules. And we need to be offered shifts before they hire new workers. I currently get 20 hours a week, and that is a result of an hour cut that I received, and I can't afford the living wages of this city. And as a result of not getting the hours that I request and need, I can't move out.
You're right.
I'm not alone in these struggles. In the past, I have given coworkers shifts of mine who needed more money than I needed at the moment. And Starbucks shouldn't be putting us into that situation. That's why I'm speaking out today, because we need change and we demand it now.
I am standing here today alongside so many workers across industries to support Starbucks partners in demanding the coffee giants stop illegally refusing to bargain in good faith with baristas over staffing, scheduling, and other issues. We know the difference a union can make in our lives, in every worker's life. And let me tell you, over the summer, something big changed. Everywhere you looked, in every state and across major industries, working people were joining together and fighting for changes. That's right. Working people rose up and went on strike by the hundreds of thousands to stand up against corporate greed and get the respect, protections, and pay they deserve. Starbucks partners, UPS drivers, airport workers, Hollywood actors, writers, and more all made their demands impossible to ignore. That's right. It's been inspiring to see workers across industries show up at each other picket lines to make it clear that a win for working people anywhere is a win for them everywhere. Yeah. solidarity movement, and the public is standing with them in a way we haven't seen in decades.
The big fight that I'm on right now is for the retirees, the New York City retirees. We are not going to stop until, that's probably where you're seeing me too, with Mary Ann. God bless her. God bless her. And she's a survivor of 9/11. So this cause is, when you feel that cause, you're different. And what she's doing, the things we see, the things that she's doing, we don't even see. We just see her when she's pretty much on the ground. But she's a soldier, is what they call her in the military. This is ridiculous. Just on its face, it's ridiculous. And it makes people believe that there's more than what you see. That's what's going on. Because I'm telling you why it's wrong. It's privatization, which you would never do, absolutely never do, while people are active. You wouldn't do that. Do we have issues? Yes, but let's all get in a room and figure out how we solve it, because you don't want to hurt somebody in the middle. Definitely not your retirees, who vote, by the way. So it's been, but we're on the right side of the history right now, because what he thought he was going to save, he or anybody else, they're not saving. We're just on the right side with the litigation that we're doing right now. We're working on the legislation.
Do you think we need a strong labor movement? We're seeing it with the auto worker strikes, Starbucks workers, so many other workers are on strike now. And what would you say about a labor party?
See, a labor party you work toward, I think you have to first re-energize what you already have. I go around, I always say that I believe that the folks who are enjoying it have grown a little comfortable. And if I have money, I'm not going to just give it away. I give it away. What? Power concedes nothing without the fight. That was told to us a long time ago. And what you're seeing now is a regenerance of what happened in the 30s and the 40s. People didn't care what you looked like, who you loved, what you hate. Again, it's that dignity of work, and everybody's got to work. Because if you're not the boss, then you're the worker. So before we talk about it could be a matter of semantics, what we want to call it. There's an energy that can't be broken. It can't. Easy. Well, once the energy is up, it'll be very easy to make that call or say to us what we want to call it. But first, we got to do the hard work to make sure that it gets done. Because I tell young people now that when I grew up, or maybe when my parents grew up, they didn't know. So they had to follow whatever. And they were doing good because they were trusting and following. Now we don't have to do that because we know better. And when you know better, you do better. So there's no excuse now. I was just hearing that, at the level of legislation, they're looking to reintroduce for our high school schoolers the idea of talking about what's important around organizing, what's important around what happens when you're in the government. That's a reintroduction of our civics, which they took.
I've never learned that in high school.
I mean, it's not bad to learn it as long as people understand that there's an element that you get on the street that like any book, you should know the history of it. But I tell people, you walk a line one time with what's going on out here now, the heat of the summer that's now coming into the fall. That's all you have to do. When you get back into that meeting where you're on the sofa again, there should be some transformation, really should.
Right, absolutely.
But if you're doing everything from the chair, I could come in every day. I could be as heated as I want to be. They really have to come out like everything else. You have to taste it. Taste and see, that's what they say. So.